Hello and welcome to Reviews with Ryan. Today I'm going to be talking about the brand new drama film, A Journal for Jordan. This is directed by Denzel Washington. He's directed films like Fences and The Great Debaters, and you also know him as an actor. Real quick before we dive into this review, I want to thank you guys for clicking on this review. If you like all kinds of movie content, movie reviews, and Blu-ray hauls, hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and comment if you're interested in seeing this film. Now without further ado, let's dive into my thoughts about this film. Before being killed in Baghdad, Sergeant Charles Monroe King authors a journal for his son to teach him a decent way of living in life. The film stars Michael B. Jordan and Shantae Adams. So if I'm being honest, A Journal for Jordan was really not advertised that much. I only saw the trailer a few times, and I really feel that this is a tearjerker film, but I really feel like a lot of people don't necessarily know that this film is coming out. The market is really saturated with films right now, and I feel like this is a film that could be getting passed up and just kind of a film where people aren't really paying attention to or really knowing that this film actually exists. But going into this film, I can say that this is a very deep love connection that these two have, but it's in a connection of a love that Michael B. Jordan, his character, how he plays this character, he's a gentleman. He respects this woman. He really is trying to get to know her and respect her wishes, and they find a way to kind of be compatible in an unorthodox way because he doesn't necessarily live in New York and she's a journalist, and he's letting her live her career out and she's letting him live his career out as being a army sergeant. And it's really hard for them because they're apart a lot, and in the film there's a lot of flashbacks and there's a lot of types of scenes where it's in the present day as well. And elaborating on the fact that it goes from present to past, I can say that it feels a little repetitive because it happens a lot, and there is a point where it feels a little bit too much because it just keeps repeating the same thing. And then add on the fact that a lot of the shots in this film, they're really shot in the woman's apartment, and they have some scenes where they're outside of that apartment a little bit. You get a little bit of taste of him out training different troops, and then with her you get a little bit of shots with her at her work because she's a journalist. But for the most part, it takes a lot place in her apartment most of the time, and this love that they have, it's kind of interesting because throughout the film, you kind of learn about this woman's character. She's been a single mom, but there are points in the film where she kind of gets angry with him. And when she gets angry with him, you're kind of going, why are you angry at this guy? He's been loyal to you. He's been faithful to you. He's been a gentleman. And I don't know if that was more so because in her past, she's kind of not really had a man to kind of depend on or really trust. And I think that was kind of why she felt that way towards him. But just noticing that throughout the film, I didn't necessarily agree with in certain points of how she treated him. But I really thought that he was a respectful gentleman, and he was really dedicated to her. And he was dedicated to writing this journal for his son as he's experiencing all these different hardships being away from them, and he wanted to lead his troops, and he didn't want to leave his troops behind. And then as far as the acting goes, Michael B. Jordan and Shantae Adams, I think they do a great job here. I know that this movie kind of feels like a Lifetime movie, but it isn't presented in the way that it is a Lifetime movie. It doesn't feel cheesy. It feels rather authentic with both leads in this, and I feel like the romance feels real, and you have to feel a little bit of emotions with Michael B. Jordan's character. Obviously, in the synopsis that I read, you know that he dies. And throughout the film, you're kind of seeing the back and forth. And then when he does pass away, you see the impact on the family. And you see a lot of the emotions that this family has suffered from. And you see kind of how the boy is and how he is wanting to know about his father and reading this journal. It's a very simplistic plot, but in a way, it still has a tearjerker effect because you've learned so much and traveled with this character, even though you know that he's going to pass away, you still feel for his character and you feel for his family. As far as the music goes in this, there's nothing really necessarily memorable. There's a few songs here and there, a few hip-hop songs, nothing really memorable that really stood out to me. As far as shots in this, like I said, a lot of them are in the apartment, a few different locations. There's one shot where it's kind of like a zoomed up scene and then they do like an overhead shot. I thought that was a really cool shot. Other than that, there's not any other shots that I can really point out in this film. And really nothing else that I really have to say about this movie. I'm going to give a score of this film a 3 out of 5. I think it's a solid enough film. I don't necessarily say that I loved it or I would buy it or pick it up, but I enjoyed it enough, and it definitely was a tearjerker, despite the fact that you knew going into the film and the synopsis that he was going to pass away. Thank you guys for watching this review, and I'll see you guys on my next one.